How's it going, everybody? Texas Man here. I hope you guys are all having a great day. Give this video a thumbs up if you guys really enjoy it. Subscribe if you guys haven't already. Also, do me the biggest favor of all, hit the bell notification button so you guys don't miss out on future videos or streams here on my channel. And in this video, we are going to be continuing on reading through my book series. This course is going to be for the Chronicles of Unit 412, the final duel. And as you guys just saw, this is the epic conclusion to the Chronicles of Unit 4 series, but not the end of the Chronicles of Unit 4 universe. After this book, we will be starting up the Final War trilogy, which is kind of like an Avengers thing, so it takes place inside of the Unit 4 universe, and then characters from RMG, the Island trilogy, Nightmare Room, Digital Doom Chronicles, and a bunch of other things. They're all going to show up in that trilogy of books, which I really am excited to read for you guys, because it's just, when you read the Chronicles of Unit 412 and you get to the last chapter, you're like, wow, that was an amazing ending. And then you're like, how does he top it with the Final War trilogy? And how does he top the Final War trilogy with Stacy the Halo of War? So we've got those books to look forward to. So after this, we've got 4 more books, and then we're going to be done. And I'm really excited to read this with you guys. Of course, if you guys want a copy of this book to read on your own or to read with me, let me know in the comment section. You're going to have to give me your email, and I will send you via email a Microsoft Word document. Also, I encourage you guys to head over to Twitch, friend, and follow me there at Douglas447. It's got a Detective Pikachu picture, just like this, sort of, but it actually looks like Pikachu instead of on a shirt. Again, that's Douglas447, and yeah, guys, this is, I haven't read this in about 7-8 years, so I'm really excited to read this again with myself and with you guys. I'll be completely honest with you guys. I didn't know how, when I was writing this book, to end it. This book took me a year and a half to figure out how I wanted to end the book. And I know a lot of people have been asking me, like, where did you get your inspiration, and how did you decide how to end your book? And how did you, how do you end a book series that's running for 12 books? And I'll just be completely honest with you guys, it was hard. And I ended up just using my pure imagination, and I thought, you know what? Why don't I end this book with a bit of a twist in the fact that I'm going to end it the same way I have been making all my books. All my ideas for characters, planets, locations, universes, weapons, characters, plot lines, all happened 99% of the time while I was sleeping. So when I was writing these books, there was moments that I would be up. I would go to bed at like 10 p.m. and I would wake up at like midnight, and from midnight to 2 a.m. ideas were just constantly popping into my head. And I decided, you know what if I used that, twisted it a little bit, and that's how I end the Chronicles of Unit 412, the final duel. And that's how the book ends, is with a really unique twist. And this book actually is going to do something that I really wanted to do and make sure that I did, is that this book is not only going to conclude a lot of major characters' storylines and character arcs, but the Chronicles of Unit 4, I know a lot of people are like, man, you just focus a lot on Douglas and Deborah and Dave and Devin and all these other side characters, but you kind of, for like books 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, you've kind of pushed Ashbecca to the side as a side character. And I wanted to make sure that for the last Unit 4 book that I made sure that the character that we started off the Chronicles of Unit 4 series with, back with Vader Morgan missiles, Ashbecca, his story comes to a conclusion. His story had a satisfying ending, and that is the primary focus of the Chronicles of Unit 412, the final duel, is that we end it. And I also wanted to make sure that because Earth is still around, that not only did I want to finish Ashbecca's storyline, but I wanted to make sure that the Chronicles of Unit 4 ended the struggle between good and evil in the Unit 4 series on Earth where everything started. So those were my two biggest things that I wanted to make sure I did. So I wrapped up Ashbecca's story really well, and that it takes place on the planet that we all started off at the beginning of this journey, being on Earth. And so I was really fortunate that I actually kind of like, by the way, in the Chronicles of Unit 4.3, Earth isn't destroyed. And we've been visiting so many other planets: Yon 4, C7S6, Darod, Kun, Cassandra, Core Cloud, Earth 2, Earth 3. I can go on. But I wanted to make sure that this book concluded on Earth, at least for the final duel. And when I was writing this, I only had plans to do 2 chapters, and this book was actually going to be short, but there's actually 4. And so we've got Conybone versus Cassandra, The Battle Ends, which I want to make sure that one of the chapters I titled The Battle Ends, because if you guys remember with Chronicles of Unit 4.1, the first chapter is called The Battle Begins. So I want to make sure I tied that up. And then chapter 3 is called The Chosen One. And then the 4th chapter, I ended the book and the entire Unit 4 series called A Final Farewell. And that's a long 7-page goodbye, because at the time of me writing this book, I had no plans to write anything else. So there was no original plan to do a Final War trilogy, and I never planned to actually finish the Stacy trilogy. I always planned to just leave it 1 and 2, and I was like, nah, I'll do one more. And then a lot of people were like, you should really expand more on the Unit 4 universe, which led me to do the Final War. So, as always, we're going to read the introduction overview, and then we'll jump right into the book. Also, want to let you guys know that I am planning on dividing this book, The Chronicles of Unit 4.12, The Final Duel, into 3 parts. So this is part 1. I hope you guys really enjoy the epic conclusion to The Chronicles of Unit 4. Introduction. The Chosen One is Ashbecca, and how you must kill Nikolai is now known. But one question remains. Where is Nikolai hiding while his Galatian generals attack the core forces on Cassandra? A tragic loss occurs in the team. The final battle between good and evil takes place, and the ultimate decision is made by Ashbecca. Will Ashbecca kill Nikolai and die also because of the part of Nikolai's soul in his body, or allow the forces of evil to rule the universe forever? What is Ashbecca's decision? Only one will win the war between good and evil. Is it the core or the arm? Unit 4 or Raiders? Ashbecca or Nikolai? Good or evil? Who will live after the battle ends? Read on, my readers, to answer your remaining questions and enjoy the epic conclusion that has taken 8 years to develop and finish. Also, make sure to read over the credits and extras to see what impact you had on the author. By the way, the author was my code name when I was writing these books. Chapter 1. Conybone versus Cassandra. Year 4445. Many have said that they can remember the stories about Ashbecca and his brother Tom Becca forming the first Unit 4 team, the battles that ended the Galactic War, the Galaxy War, the Universal War, the Ice War, and the last war against Satan. Those people believed for the past years that evil would continue to arise in the universe. My message to you is simple. The final duel between good and evil is about to begin. So, my readers, pull up a chair, place your butt in it, and enjoy the epic conclusion. Location, Sector 15. We will arrive at Cassandra in 15 minutes, said Devon, on the DAAS 44th Command Bridge. Douglas, Devon, Deborah, and Ash looked at each other to realize the battle between the remaining armed forces from Conybone would be attacking Cassandra within the hour. Ash, how are you doing? Asked Douglas. I'm just fine, said Ash. Have you made a decision? Asked Douglas. A decision about what? Asked Ash. Are you going to make the universe's ultimate sacrifice? Asked Douglas. If it will end evil forever, then yes, said Ash. Location, Conybone. Welcome back home, said a demon general to Galatian generals Hogor, Edward, and Susan. What orders from Nikolai? Asked the demon general. Gather up the army of Galatians, demons, fighters, ships, tanks, and bombers to prepare to attack Cassandra, said Galatian General Hogor. Are we going to eliminate the entire corps? Asked Edward. Hogwar's son. Yes, and we're going to take care of putting an end to Unit 4 with our red lightsabers, said Hogwarts, leading the armed army of 3,000 troops to Cassindoe. We will arrive at Cassindoe in 1 hour, said Susan. Location, the DAAS-44. Landing the ship on Cassindoe, said Devon. Unit 4 left the command bridge, walked to the armory, and grabbed blaster rifles. The team left their ship and looked around to see the corps of 4,000 troops ready for the upcoming invasion of the Arm. Welcome! No, long time no see, said a voice. The team looked behind them to see Tree General Rosh, Droid General Ace, General Abby, and God prepared to fight. All ships and fighters are ready in space. Tanks are ready to blast any enemy transports, and ground troops have both a blaster rifle and a green lightsaber, said General Abby. Good work, but what news about Nikolai's movements? Asked Douglas. Unit 4 God and the Corps Generals entered a radar station. The armed forces at Conybone are on the move and making their way towards us, said General Abby. What about Nikolai? He and the radar generals left thin line on a separate ship, but didn't head the same direction as the Galatian generals, said Douglas. We did detect a faint heat trace of an armed ship in Sector 22, said General Abby. What is Nikolai doing there? Asked Deborah. That is a very good question, said Devon. What is so special on Earth? Asked Deborah. Nothing my spy angels have been able to detect, said God. No matter what Nikolai has planned, once we finish here, we will head to Earth and make sure the battle ends, said Ash. 50 minutes later. Location, Earth. My lord, how do you plan to kill Ash before he attempts to kill you? Asked Raider General Ted to Nikolai inside of the noble office. Very simple, replied Nikolai. All I have to do is press this master button and the universe will cease to exist, said Nikolai. The raiders looked at each other to realize Nikolai was willing to annihilate the universe in order to prove to his father, Satan, that he had the power to end the good of the universe. Location, Cassindoe. Sir, the armed fleet will be in firing range of our fleet within 2 minutes, said a human inside of the radar station. Sound the alarm, said Douglas. Red lights began flashing over the entire city platform, and the final battle between the Arm and the Corps forces was at hand. Put me through to the entire Corps fleet, and Army, ordered Douglas. You're good to go, said a droid, after flipping a few switches. Douglas sat down on a mobile metal chair and placed a headset on his head. This is General Douglas with an important message to the Corps. In less than 1 minute, the Arm will be in firing range of our fleet, and the battle between Conybone and Cassindoe will begin. I have given many speeches before a battle to end the war, but today I am not going to do so like I have in the past years. However, I will say one final thing before the battle begins, to end the battle against evil. Good luck and Godspeed, said Douglas. Kaboom! Unit 4 God and the Corps Generals ran outside to see half of the Corps fleet gone. They must have Devastator cannons mounted onto their ships, said Ash. Zoom! Kaboom! An armed bomber flew over the group of 8 and dropped a bomb on the radar station. Everyone head for the DAAS-44, yelled Douglas. The group raced past the Green Lightsaber Factory and looked to see the DAAS-44 within 1 minute of reaching. General Ace, General Rosh, and General Abby paused and looked behind them to see the leaderless Corps Army. Unit 4 and God knew what they were going to have to do by looking at the generals' faces. Find Nikolai and kill him, Ash, said General Abby. The 3 generals raced towards the battlefield, while Unit 4 and God boarded the DAAS-44 to help the Corps fleet. Dad, our 3 Devastator cannons are mounted and are ready to eliminate the fish corps protecting a factory, said Galatian General Edward. Take aim and fire, said Galatian General Hogor. The long-range plasma cannons on the city platform opened fire and killed the entire race of fish corps. Have the Devastator cannons prepare to fire on the main base hut, said Hogor. The 3 Corps generals looked up to see the Corps fleet had been defeated. Defense towers, target the bombers and fighters only, ordered General Abby on his earpiece. The 100 defense towers fired hundreds of lasers, destroying all the armed bombers and fighters. That reduced their numbers greatly, said General Abby. Sling! Rosh and Ace looked to see a red blade in Abby's body. Long live the Corps, said General Abby, before collapsing to the ground. The two generals looked to see Galatian General Hogor retrieve his red lightsaber, and Galatian General Edward and Susan with a red lightsaber ready to strike. Ace turned on his green lightsaber, and Rosh prepared to destroy the three Devastator cannons behind the Galatian generals. Death to the arm, said Rosh, racing past the Galatian generals. Rosh kicked the three Devastator cannons and watched as they fell off the platform and sunk into the water. Rosh turned around and ran to help Ace against the armed generals. The lightsabers clashing together seemed like it would continue for an eternity, but then Rosh joined the fight. Rosh lifted his gigantic tree-like foot and prepared to smash Edward. Edward leaped out of the way into midair and drove his red lightsaber between Rosh's two eyes. "No!" yelled Ace. "Long live the Corps," said Rosh faintly, before his tree-like body splashed into the dark-colored water below. Ace activated his machine gun arms and blasted 25 bullets into the back of Galatian General Susan. Hogor raced towards Ace and chopped Ace's droid head off. Edward ran towards Susan to comfort her with words, but the damage was too great for any last words. Tears began to make their way down Edward's face, and anger began to build up inside of his heart. Edward stood up and looked towards the remaining 100 Corps forces, making a last stand against the 1,000 armed forces. "Death to the Corps," said Edward, walking towards the army of demons and Galatians with Hogor behind him. 5 minutes earlier. Location, the DAAS-44. "Our chances for getting out of here are greater thanks to the defense towers taking out the enemy bombers and fighters," said Devon, on the ship's command bridge. "Shields are 100%, said Deborah. "All nuclear missiles, hydrogen missiles, and cannons are ready to be launched," said Ash, the chosen one. "Douglas, we are heading right towards 2 remaining armed ships in space," said Ash, looking at his screen. "Lock on and fire missiles," ordered Douglas. "Yes, sir," replied Ash. "This plan had better work," said God, sitting on a bench behind Douglas. "Targets are locked on," said Ash. "Fire!" said Douglas. "Firing 4 nuclear missiles and 2 hydrogen missiles at each target," said Ash, pressing a button on his screen. "Impact in 20 seconds, said Devon. Location, one of the 2 armed ships. Launch the special missile, said the Demon General, with a grin on his face. Location, DAAS-44. 10 seconds to impact, says Devon. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, said Devon. Kaboom! Kaboom! "Targets eliminated," said Ash. "Incoming missile," said Devon. "Change course and activate energy engines," ordered Douglas. "Incoming missile! Impact in 20 seconds, said a computer on the ship's speakers. "Douglas, I can't outrun this missile, and the energy engines aren't responding," said Devon. "What do we do now?" asked Ash. "Impact in 12 seconds, said the computer. "Abandon ship," ordered Douglas. The group of 5 Corps members dashed off the command bridge, entered Corps fighters in the ship's bay, and left the DAAS-44 before its destruction. Kaboom! "Return to the platform city," said Ash. "No, we need to find Nikolai on Earth," said Douglas. And that's going to do it for me, guys. I will see you guys in part 2 to continue the epic conclusion of the Chronicles Unit 4, 12, The Final Duel. Bye, guys.